What's up, guys? How's it going? Today, I'm going to be shooting the podcasts for Waterboys Tech Talk. Calvin is actually on his way right now. I'm recording this before he gets here. But this is kind of going to be the tour of the behind the scenes of what we do to get ready for the podcast. So you're going to see kind of how our area is set up. We're going to show you what we use as far as where we get our information from. Our Reddit threads, our websites, all that stuff is going to be linked below. I'm going to give you kind of a little insight to that, let you see kind of what the threads look like, what we choose from, what we don't choose from. I'm going to show you our Slack. We use Slack to kind of keep everything centralized. That way we can keep track of topics that we want and the dates that we put them in. That way we know if it's relevant, if it's not relevant, what the case is with that. And that's how we decide what we want to choose to talk about on our podcast. It's just going to kind of be an overall general look at everything behind the scenes and what goes on to make our podcast happen. So one of the first things I wanted to go through are our Reddit threads. We use quite a few different ones, like the Apple, Microsoft, Apple Watch, iPhone, pretty much anything that is centralized around a piece of tech, we kind of just use that. Another thing that I personally like to use is Tech News and Tech News Today, which are two separate Reddit threads, but they both usually have some pretty good stuff. We find out quite a lot about that. We actually found two of our topics from this week's podcast, episode 4, on either of those Reddit threads. We found one from each. They're pretty big topics, so you'll need to listen to hear what those are about. I know Calvin likes to use 9to5 Mac as well as 9to5 from Microsoft and all the other 9to5s, which also usually have quite a bit of information flowing through them. Mac Rumors is also another really great one that we use. So we kind of get our information from a lot of different places. Whether it's Reddit, whether it's websites, whether it's Twitter, we get a lot of stuff from Twitter. Things like that. Pretty much anywhere you can get a leak or anywhere that has some breaking news to it and it's coming around to the time for the podcast and something we want to talk about, we'll usually use it if it's kind of related to what we like to centralize our focus points on. The next thing that I wanted to show you is our Slack. Now, I know Slack is mostly based for businesses, but we wanted to use that way we have a centralized place for all of our content. We used a shared note on our iPhone, and that was okay for a bit, but once we started getting a lot of things that we wanted to talk about, a lot of topics that we were kind of backlogging to talk about on later dates, the links and all of the posting and everything kind of got messed up in that, so we went ahead and we went to Slack. That way we can see a timestamp of the date and the time that we posted said link, and it's just all kind of there. It's an easily accessible link, so we don't have to go into the notes and worry about screwing stuff around. We can just click on it right there. It gives us the little hyperlink box with the preview, and we use it from there. We have a place for where we put all of our topics that we want to use. It's pretty much just a huge dump of all of the topics that we want to talk about on the podcast. And then we have another channel that's strictly for what we're going to outline each episode for. So you will go through it whenever you see it on the screen. It's kind of just going to be an outline of the topics we talk about, and then we'll make our own. I make mine in Word, but we just kind of take down our own notes. We go each read the websites, maybe try and do a little bit extra research to find the other websites, and we go from there. The thing we used for audio for the podcast is actually just GarageBand. Pretty much all we do, I plug in 2 microphones into my MacBook Pro, and then you can go in through the audio MIDI settings and you can create an audio device that includes 2 different devices. So we just kind of go that route, and then we put it all into GarageBand and we just record whatever we want to do. And it makes it really easy because we use Anchor.fm as our podcast distribution site. So pretty much the way it works, whenever we finish, I just export from GarageBand into an MP3, and then I go to Anchor's website, and it's really just taking that MP3, uploading it, and then from there on Anchor, I can edit the video edit the audio if I need to. I can change the title of the podcast. I can change anything in the description. I can set seasons, episodes, all that kind of stuff, all that great stuff. And then whenever I finish that and I get everything uploaded and I get it all looking how I like, and when I get all the titles and I get the description and everything looking right, all it takes for me to do is I just schedule when I want it to release. I hit save, and then whenever whenever that time comes. It's usually about 3 or 4 a.m. the morning that it's supposed to post. That way it gets time to go out to everybody. But it'll distribute to every podcast platform that we're available on. So all the big ones like Apple, Google, Spotify, any of the big platforms that we're on, it'll immediately push out to that. And then that's really it. I really like the feature where it allows me to set a time for it to post, because I'll usually, whenever Calvin leaves after the episode is already over and we're finished recording for the night, I'll usually just export it there, let it run its course. Usually takes about 5 minutes, and then I'll go and upload it onto Anchor.fm, and I'll let it upload. Takes about another 5 or 10. While it's doing that, I get all of the title and the description and everything together, and then I set it to post for Friday morning. So it really works well. It's really not hard to get started up. You just need a couple microphones and a solid recording software. I haven't really had any issues with GarageBand as far as, setting sound settings or anything like that. It all really works pretty well. We do record the video that we like to put. We have a whole other YouTube centralized just for the podcast video in case people stumble upon us from YouTube. With that, I just shoot it on this Canon Vixia R800. It's pretty nice. I don't know if it'll focus in here. It's not bad. This is the first camcorder that I actually bought for Katie when she wanted to start doing YouTube. It shoots in okay 1080p, but compared to this camera, the Canon M50, this is light years better as far as quality. I literally tell the difference between the 1080p from this camera to the 1080p from the M50. The only problem is the M50 only records in 30-minute increments. Our podcast is usually about an hour long, so I can't use that. But as far as the recording process and everything that we use, as far as getting our information, where we get our sources, how we share the sources between each other, how we write up everything, that's about it. That'll really do it. There's not much else to show other than that. I'm actually recording the rest of this. We just recorded this week's podcast. Calvin just left, so I wasn't able to get a shot of how we have our gear set up. So with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of behind the scenes of the podcast type deal. If you want to see more, let me know, please. Or if there's another aspect that you'd like to look at, definitely let me know in the comments below. Also in the description, I'm going to have our Waterboys Tech Talk Instagram and YouTube and the Anchor FM link to our site where you can access our podcast from any platform off of that one site. All of those links are going to be listed below. And as usual, my social media, Instagram, Twitter, both Daniel Brumley HD. Make sure you go follow those. If you guys like this video, definitely let me know. I'm always open to do this. I actually just ordered a Google Home Mini, so be ready to see a review on that whenever it comes in around the first week of November. I'll definitely be doing an inclusive review on that. But anyways, to get all of that out before I start rambling more, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it may be. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.